All this is just Umrusuji reaction. This is True Facts Deception in the Rainforest by the channels of Frank1. Yeah, I guess he's gonna talk about all the animals who uses camouflage. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So Frank1 is a great channel, even though you might not get much, detailed knowledge as like how Tearzu does it. He's all of his jokes and things, the way he said it's always based on the real facts of the thing. So it is a true facts that he's saying here. That is the series name, True Facts. And he makes jokes based on that. That's so real talent there, right? I mean, just talking about facts and making a joke based on that. So yeah. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast of the plays like Tearzu, Orisa Kashi Production, Interhistorian, History, CGB Grey. And yeah, that's always fun.
Rainforests are the most biologically diverse places on Earth. Wildlife photographers David Weiler and Thomas Morant would know. They have traveled to rainforests around the world.
Look at that.
Jenny, is that them? Oh, I see, they're the ones that took the pictures. Well, that makes more sense. Rainforests are host to more than half of all known species, which means they can be crowded as hell. It's like those apartment buildings that kids move into after college. Everyone has like 50 roommates, all of them with dietary restrictions. And there's always one that makes way too much noise in the morning. It's sort of like that, but in the rainforest, some of your roommates want to eat you. So if you want to live there, you have to figure out how to get not eaten. Perhaps the most straightforward.
Yeah. Why is that anybody who goes to wildlife like rainforest and things, they have the best camera there is? Because this footage are always crisp, perfect, extremely detailed, great colors and everything. It's always this wildlife photography that it's like that.
Way of avoiding a predator is to have a hidey hole. But if you don't have a hidey hole to hide in, the next best thing is to be able to hide in plain sight. To disappear through background matching,
look at that.
An animal's coloration is roughly what you would get if you took a random sampling of the colors and shapes in their background. This is a form of crypsis or camouflage and comes about from an evolutionary dance between predator and prey. If an individual winds up with a mutation that makes it harder for a predator to detect them, even when they're looking right at them, then they are more likely to make babies and pass the trait on to the next generation. Rinse and repeat. These sorts.
It's awesome to see, right? Evolution working like that. Look at the camouflage. They'll look, they literally, if you don't have the, high quality camera or something like that and video footage directly looking at them, you're just walking past, even you'll be like, oh, I can't see anything here, because probably not there. This is also one of the things that forest trips me out. Because I just go there, there's nothing there. Oh, and just stand near a tree or something. Oh, look at that shit. There's a massive, something on the tree there, which I couldn't see because it has a camouflage on. It's always like there's some kind of an insect or something. No, not insect. I don't know. Some kind of an animal that can, mantis type animal who can also, disguise itself like a leaf. So if you pick up a bunch of leaves, that might be some kind of animal too if it starts to move. I've seen a video of that clip of that somewhere. It really creeped me out. That's why I would never go into the rainforest and things like that. Fuck that.
Of adaptations are driven by what the predator can perceive. If your predator is colorblind, you can have little red speckles and still disappear on a gray background. If they don't see in high resolution, maybe your blotches can be a bit bigger. And likewise, creatures that we have a hard time seeing might pop out to predators who can see ultraviolet light. However, this strategy isn't perfect. Light and shadows can reveal your outline. Or that, right? I mean, sometimes you have to go, and that's good technique. He missed the guy behind him. They're free poopers. They know what they're doing. Anywho, instead of disappearing by having a seemingly random array of speckles, animals that employ disruptive camouflage will often have neighboring patches of highly contrasting colors that would otherwise draw attention. Disruptive camouflage creates false edges that make it hard to see the true shape of an animal. And it's not just about color. Having extra body bits here and there can make it quite difficult to figure out what part of the animal you're looking at. Changes in coloration and shape can allow an animal to come into the foreground.
That's what I was talking about, I think.
Instead of just blending into a background. In masquerade.
I don't know why that creeps me out a lot. this insects and things just, camouflage itself to look like leaves. Because of all the camouflage, I would never think, I don't know, it might be just me thing, but I would never think that a leaf, if I pick it up, could be an insect. That just creeps me out. So this is just effed up.
Even if an animal is spotted, it has evolved to be mistaken for something inanimate, something that wouldn't be on the predator's menu. Sticks and leaves seem to be quite popular. Listen, I'm sure it's not easy pretending to be a stick or a leaf, or the end of a log like a potu bird do. I'm just saying it doesn't feel that creative. It's like being a witch on Halloween. At least with bird poop, they're trying. The caterpillar of the king-page swallowtail is like next-level stuff. I mean, right down to the texture. Look at it. I know what you're thinking. My poop doesn't have little red antennas on it. Kind of screws up the whole costume. Here's the thing, though. That's an organ called the osmeterium. It is everted. Think if you could turn your nostrils inside out. And it emits a terrible smell. I told you they're next level at this. But if poop isn't your thing, the monkey slug caterpillar is more of a think outside the box sort of pretender. From the bottom, they look a bit like a tongue with a mullet. But when they are right side up, they appear to mimic what's left behind after a tarantula molts. Right down to the details, like the little holes where the legs come out. But if masquerade is about appearing as something uninteresting to a predator, what about pretending to be something downright unpleasant? In the rainforest, there are quite a few things that are very unpleasant for predators to try and eat. Some have very visible defenses, like thorns and spikes. I'm sorry, it's hard to take this one seriously, Your Majesty. I take it back. However, other defenses are harder to see. Many species ingest or can create toxins that taste terrible and can make a predator very sick or even very dead. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times do I see this. It's always surreal to see how, how nature works, right? All this defense is tailored to that specific animal, all because of evolution. All these different things like, mimicking certain leaves, plants, some tree, having spikes like that. That's just after, even though it's creepy as F, right? Damn.
Being toxic to a predator after it's already chewing on you is not that great of a defense. Joke's on you. I bet you puke up my lifeless body in 5 minutes. Burn. Google blue jay barfing butterfly. You'll see what I mean.
That's why I guess Tier Zoo, ranks any animal that has a defense mechanism as, releasing toxins. It ranks really low because defense means you're already, being attacked, and then you use that. So you're already damaged now. If poison is your attack mechanism, then you are really good. But if it's a defense mechanism, it's kind of, you're already screwed somewhat.
But even if you end up becoming predator puke, your relatives and offspring might be spared if the predator learns to avoid things that look like you. This means that for animals that have toxins, there can be an evolutionary advantage in helping the predator to learn to avoid them. In some cases, this means an animal will do the opposite of hiding, displaying bright colors and making themselves very conspicuous. This is called aposematic coloration, basically an honest warning signal, one that can help the predator make the association. Now, what is interesting is that often two or more species that are toxic will evolve to look very much alike. For example, both the viceroy on the left and the monarch.
So let me get this straight. To, confuse the predator, some animals sacrifices themselves for the greater good. Oh, shit. It just went deep there, right? God damn.
On the right are toxic to birds. Bees and wasps do this too. When two or more well-defended species share a warning signal, it is called Mullerian mimicry, after Fritz Muller, who is dead. This works from an evolutionary standpoint because sharing a warning signal means that you share the cost of educating predators. Each species loses fewer individuals to the learning process than if they went it alone. But if there are signals that cause predators to stay away, there is an opportunity to cheat. If you are delicious and quite safe to eat like this Katie did, there's an advantage to looking like a wasp that has a pointy butt. When a good-to-eat creature pretends that it's a dangerous or toxic one, it is called Batesian mimicry, after Henry Walter Bates, who is dead. This can involve both a look and a behavior. Some hawk moth caterpillars are
I
about
don't know why after the second time he said who's dead, he's dead. I heard his sound cracking a bit. Even he was about to laugh there.
as good at pretending to be a snake as you can imagine a caterpillar being. When threatened, it waves itself around like a dangerous third of a snake. But the yellow and black of pointy bee butts is one of the most recognizable warning signals of all. And that means there's a lot of fakers out there that don't have pointy butts like the bee do, but want in on the protection. Some beetles are okay at it, and the moths do it pretty well. But the winner of the bee and wasp cosplay goes to the hoverflies. They're all in. Hundreds of species of hoverflies mimic everything from yellow jackets to bumblebees to the skinny-waisted mud dauber wasps. You can see how all these fakers could really screw up the whole predator education thing. And if there's too many mimics, then the predator can start to catch on and become more discerning. Some butterflies have an amazing way of making sure that they don't
I can imagine bee going to all these different insects and going like, because of you assholes, there are people who used to fear me but now thinks that I'm you and try to attack me, and I have to fight them every time.
overplay their deceit. Papilio dardanus has been called the most interesting butterfly in the world. The other butterflies were like, whatever. The females are polymorphic, meaning that a female will grow up to be one of over 14 different body forms or morphs. Here's a little sample. All of these are Papilio dardanus. And here's the crazy part. Each of these forms mimics a different distasteful species.
Okay, so these are delicious apparently. This tastes like crap. Okay.
Of butterfly. It's like a genetic Swiss Army knife of deception. And you never saturate the market. Tricky butterflies are predators themselves, and they can be tricked by their prey. Vines in the genus Passiflora, with their crazy-ass flowers, have developed toxins that keep most butterflies and caterpillars away. However, some butterflies have evolved an enzyme that can break this toxin down. So they just lay their eggs willy-nilly all over the Passiflora leaves. But when the little babies hatch, they have a tendency to be cannibalistic. So these butterflies will avoid laying their eggs near someone else's eggs. Some Passiflora vines take advantage of this. They appear to mimic butterfly eggs in a number of different ways. For example, little yellow spots on the leaves, or these little yellow polyps. All of this to deceive the butterfly and keep it moving along to the next plant. Mimicking the predator you're trying to avoid is called Gilbertian mimicry, after Lawrence Gilbert, who's not dead, but based on the last two, I'd be worried. But no defense is fool.
He just saw that. Okay, he's alive. What should I say about this? I have to make some kind of clear comment. Fuck it. Based on the previous two, I'm worried. That was one of the best thing ever.
Proof, and so animals will often have a number of different ones, some of which only come into play at the very last moment before a predator strikes. The Amazon barcanole is very well hidden, but will flash a bright color when threatened. Butterflies, moths, and lanternflies play a metal version of peekaboo to the death, with giant eye spots that can startle or change the point of attack. Getting a predator to strike away from vital organs can be the difference between a shitty day and a very shitty day. The gray hairstreak butterfly has a false head on the tips of its wings. They often sit with that part pointing up, and they can even move their little false antennae. Better to be bit on the butt than dead. And then there's this little caterpillar who does that. You know you'd be freaked out if your food winked at you. In any case, you can see that if you live together for millions of years, it all devolves into an episode of Big Brother. Everyone's just lying to everyone, even the predators. They're mimics too. If there's a deception that you can think of, it probably exists. Like Rule 34. As Aristotle said, nature is a whore with a vacuum. Jerry, that's not right. No, see, it's nature abhors a vacuum. What? Is that why nature is so dirty? It's not a vacuum cleaner. No, it's like an empty space, like a hole. So in this context, it's like if nature sees an empty hole, it'll put an animal in it. Well, I suppose that is a little dirty. Who? Aristotle? Yeah, he's super dead.
Aristotle is super dead. Yeah. Man, this is a great video, man. This is one of the latest one, right? 2021 March. Man, he's getting better by the time. Oh, Seriously, man, this is just effed up, right? I never thought of it like that. But yeah, everybody's lying to everyone. Everybody's using deception in the in the rainforest. Basically, the insect is deceiving its predator, right? By creating some kind of camouflage, and then that tries to eat its prey, and the prey is deceiving the insect. That's just effed up, man. Everybody's lying, everybody's doing deception, but it's awesome to see how nature does things, right? Like specific thing. It's not just one or two thing, like camouflage, like look like a tree, look like a tree trunk or something like that. No, it is way complex, right? Even the flowers and things uses this kind of a bee whatever egg thing or something like that to deceive them so they don't come near or something like that. It's very specific deception, which is ridiculous to see, man. It always surprises me when I see nature at work like that. Damn. The main thing about this is like, he's dead. That guy is dead. This other guy, he's not dead, but based on the previous two, I'm worried. That's just effed up, man. Alright, people, that was True Facts, Deception in the Rainforest by the channel zefrank1. This is a great channel. I love it. It always cracks me up. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the Rigs Sunday. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards, we'll play the cards, and I'll see you next time.